Hello everybody, we are back again doing some fun background character sketching, and it looks like this time the Irish elk was the winner, which finding reference pictures for an extinct animal, a little bit tricky, but it looks like they basically are just ginormous elk with even larger antlers, so that shouldn't be too bad. So let's get started. Hello, Graycove God. That's funny. Okay, so we're gonna start with the skeleton. All of the pictures that I can see of them, they gave them pretty large humps on their back. So I think I'm gonna give them kind of a, you know, very slouched, with like curved neck kind of posture. Especially because he's such a big fella, and these antlers look so massive and annoying to walk around with. I think it would really, you know, mess up with their neck and their back. So we're just gonna block in some shapes here. It's not so much a skeleton, we're kind of skipping over that step, but I think this would be a better way to go about it. Kind of giving that big neck fluff that elk have. It looks like you guys are leaning towards blacksmith at the moment. Let's just give him a basic standing pose. This is the first one. We'll keep it simple. Let's see. What should his arms be doing? Let's give him an easy pose. Hand on hip. Classic go-to. Other one just by his side. Blocking some leg here. Kind of looking like an old man, which I guess makes sense since extinct animal and everything, but and since he's probably going to be the largest animal that we're sketching tonight, we'll leave him nice and big on the page here. I'm just going to move him over a little bit so we can draw on these antlers. And it looks like blacksmith is the winner. Will they be bioluminescent? Yep, they will. Hi, Marshall survived the freeze in Houston. I got sick for 3 days from the cold, but I am better. That's good. Happy to hear it. Okay, let's look up. Nice blacksmith outfit. I think it's usually pretty simple, just big leather apron. Actually, let's draw these antlers in first. They're such a weird shape. They're kind of like moose antlers, but like really messed up. I thought herbs would be a pain to walk around with, but this guy would have a very difficult time. Glowing antlers, that'd be fun. If you guys had gone with Carver, I was gonna say it'd be kind of cool if his antlers had like big like swirls or something carved into them. Making a bracelet right now, and I want to make ones for Russell, Hazel, and Griff. What color should I use? That's a good question. I mean, I feel like Russell's easy enough. Like an orange would be good for him. I feel like Hazel is a blue character because of her spots, necklace, bag. Everything I give her is usually some type of blue. And then I guess Griff's could either be like a brown, or like the blue of the guard uniform, maybe. You wouldn't wear orange, you can't wear things the same color as your fur. I guess not. Okay, his antlers are kind of going off screen here, but that's okay. They're gonna take up most of the space anyways. And they kind of slope down like this. A really funky shape. Let's see what their noses look like. Okay, I'm seeing a bunch of different options, so I'm just gonna give them basic. Same shape as like Hazel and Herb's nose. I guess an animal wearing something the same color as their fur is like a human wearing skin-colored clothes. Yeah, that's fair. I always hate flesh-toned clothing. It's very strange looking. Okay, let's turn down the opacity on that, make a new layer on top. Okay, and we'll make him a nice blacksmith outfit. Yeah, I think we're gonna keep it pretty simple, just apron. We already have blacksmiths in Graycove, but maybe he could be the blacksmith in another town. I don't know how many blacksmiths one town would need, but I feel like not a lot. I feel like that's a one shop per town kind of thing, but I could be wrong. I don't remember if I remember any avian characters in this universe, so maybe a bird of some sort. Birds are non-sentient in Graycove because they need something to eat. So birds are not people. Okay, let's clean this up a bit. I wonder what kind of spots or stripes or pattern I should give him. Let's give him big eyebrows, big bushy ones. This guy's starting to look a lot like Herb, but that's okay. Do large blotches for him, please. That would look good. Oh yeah, maybe. Let's make his arms a little bit thicker if he's working at a handle all day. I don't think he'd be scrawny. Maybe in this hand he's holding like a hammer. Are there books in literature from back when humans were still around? There is some that they'd be able to find. Some of it would have disintegrated. But we'll get into that more as the series progresses. But yes, there would be some books. Me thinking back to the time when I left a comment about how I was worried about Griff on the guard conversation short, and Jasper replied, "Dog, I can never say how fictional this character is." Yeah, like, they're all fictional. And because they're fictional, we're gonna beat them up a lot. Griff is real in our hearts, nowhere else though. Imagine Hazel or any animal finding an excerpt from one of the books, then filling the blanks of what would happen next. I mean, it would be really funny for them to find like the first book in a series and then never be able to find the second or third one, and it ends on a cliffhanger. So their entire, like, every time they go into human ruins, whatever, they're like, please, please keep an eye out. I need to read the next book in this series. It's killing me, but I don't know where to find it. Or yeah, they find the second book and then never find the first one. Imagine they find an installment in the series, it's like book 22. Yeah, it just gets to the point where Hazel's like, don't even bring me the book back unless it's in a box set. I'm like, I can't even. Okay, good lines here. Okay, turn that one off. I like the idea that someone had to give him big splotches, so let's do that. Give him one on his back, and maybe one of his eyes has a big splotch on it. And then maybe one of his hands. Feet and a knee. We're not showing it, but they all glow. All of these big splotches. They're gonna be a fun, bright color. I don't know what that color is. It's something fun. Do people in Graycove have books, and could somebody basically write a fanfic based on the one book in a series they found? I mean, I guess so, if they wanted to put the time into doing that. You guys are typing so fast, I'm missing so many comments. I'm trying to read through it. Okay, looks like you guys are doing names now. Samson, Abel, Oscar, or Craig. Nice. Well, while you guys do that, I'm gonna keep cleaning this fella up. Actually, I want to give him kind of a crooked nose. Let's have a big bump right there. Gregory. Do the citizens of Graycove have some idea of what their ancestors were like before they evolved and humanity fell? I think some would and some wouldn't. That's a good question. I think Hazel and her family would have an idea because they would see a lot more, like, going through human ruins and finding, like, pictures of animals and, like, you know, if they ever went to, like, a museum or something. I think that would be quite a strange shock to see. Yeah, at some point they are, you know, far, far in the future. I want them to end up going to a museum of some sort, just because I think that would be a really interesting interaction for the three main characters to have. The three main characters obviously being Hazel, Russell, and Griff. But I guess they would also see it in books, so I don't know. Maybe it's somewhat common knowledge that they just don't really talk about that much. Wow, you guys type so fast. It's so hard for me to keep up today for some reason. But yeah, I had a scene in mind specifically of them finding, like, a wing filled with taxidermy and just the disgust of it, I guess, and being like, this is really messed up. Okay, so it looks like his name is Abel. Cute. I like that. What an old man name. I think we're about reaching the end of this character. So how about you guys start thinking up some more animals, do another poll while I clean them up a bit. And similar to the other ones, we're not gonna color him, just because that would take up so much time between each character, but we're just sketching him out. And yeah, any last minute suggestions for Abel the Irish elk blacksmith? How would an animal react to a plane? They learn that some planes can literally fly at over 1,000 miles per hour. See, I've had that thought before, but I went a bit further with it of, like, how would they react to, like, space travel? Because, like, for a society that relies on just, like, wooden carts for travel, it would be very crazy to think about, you know, people going into space. I feel like the matriarch would have some of her bad children taxidermied when they die, and then she would tell the kids if they misbehave, that's what happened. Jeez, that's messed up. Her whole thing is how much she cares for her children, even if she's not maybe the best at showing it, so I don't think she would directly, like, fully taxidermy any of her kids. But she does have hyena skins, which is close, so yeah. Imagine a solar eclipse / lunar eclipse would freak Graycove citizens out. Those uninformed in space lore. Yeah, that's true. It probably would freak them out. They'd probably think it's like a, you know, something magical, supernatural, something like that. Hi, just dropping by, love your art, and also me and my friends did our own dub of your comic, and one of my characters did a Scottish accent for Hazel's dad. I love that. That's very fun. If you post it anywhere, tag me in it. I'd love to see it. And thank you for your support. It is very much appreciated. Giving him a Scottish accent is very funny. Because one of the reasons why I chose to do a red deer for Herb is because my dad's family is Scottish. We have a family crest that has a red deer on it. So I thought that'd be really fun. So it's funny that you went with that. Oh, me and my friend did a reading of Graycove. She made Hazel kind of sound like Sid from Ice Age due to her teeth. She fell in love with Hazel's character soon after. That's fair. I always kind of pictured her having like a little bit of a lisp at least, because of her, you know, big old buck teeth. A rib-winged lizard. I don't think I've ever heard of that. I'm sure I've probably seen it, but... How hard is it for you to draw these videos? And I'm glad you don't use a neural network. I mean, it is definitely really hard to draw while chatting with people. It's definitely a challenge sometimes. But it's good, and like I'm getting somewhat used to it. When people are like chatting like lots and lots and lots, it's hard to keep up, and like obviously I miss a lot of people's comments. Thankfully, Jasper is here to highlight any that he thinks are really important that I missed. And that helps. Or sometimes he'll text me or something partway through the stream to be like, hey, a person asked this question, you should answer it. So yeah, it is a little tricky. I remember having an art teacher who said whenever she started drawing, her brain would just turn off and she'd have a really hard time forming articulate sentences, and it showed. She would start painting to like show us something, and she would just have to like draw and then talk and then draw and then talk. And sometimes I find I have a similar problem where it's harder to find the words I want to say once I really get into drawing something or painting something. And I don't fully know why that is, but okay, it looks like Jasper just learned how to pin questions, so that is really helpful. Have you ever thought of using stream character designs for shorts, non-canon interaction and stuff? I actually hadn't thought of that, but that is a good idea. Alright, there we go. We're gonna call this fella done. This isn't a perfect sketch by any means, but I think it is solid work, and he looks adorable. And I believe we named him Abel. Put that down. I call him Irish Elks, right? Yeah. There we go. And let's see, it was a rib-winged lizard. So let me quickly find some pictures for that. It'll just be a moment. So I have no idea what they look like. Oh, these guys look very weird. That's fun. What's the funniest, most interesting thing to happen to you two because of Graycove fan interactions thing that happened while writing, etc.? That's a good question that I am having a hard time thinking of a good answer for. Yeah, I have no idea. I'm completely blanking on anything funny that's happened. I mean, we've come up with like funny ideas for the comic that made us laugh. I'm having a hard time thinking of anything specific though. Is there a canon reason as to why all these animals have similarly evolved human-like qualities like bipedalism, speech, and dexterous digits, convergent evolution, if you will? There is, but we're not gonna actually get into that or answer it because we don't want to spoil anything that's happening in the future, and that's something that we're gonna get into later. Not for quite a while, unfortunately, but yeah. Yeah, you guys are going off tonight. I'm having the hardest time keeping up. But okay, let me do monkeys, apes, chimps still exist? Yes, you can see a gorilla in the background of chapter 3 or 4. When they're at the lumberyard. Okay, these are really weird looking little lizards, and all the pictures I'm seeing have them gliding. Here's a good picture. Okay. I'm gonna do my best. This is a weird looking little guy. Okay, let's start with a head shape. Kind of weird, triangular looking guy. And like a lot of lizards, their neck and their body is kind of the same width, so we're gonna do that as well. And have a line for his tail. More slender shoulders. Just kind of. Wizard is winning so far. He's a wizard. That's really funny. Okay. It looks like Wizard is the winner, and because magic does not exist, he's actually just a crazy guy who thinks he's a wizard. I could get him a big hat, because I love big hats. Oh wait, their weird little wing things don't actually connect to their arms like I thought they would. Either way, I want him to have his arms just straight up. I think that'd be funny. And their weird little wing things kind of slope like this. No wide brim, just tall like Dumbledore. Dumbledore hat? Okay, fine. I love the wide brim hat, but if that's what you want. It looks more like a dunce cap, but you... That's fine, I guess. We're gonna have to really shrink him down. Okay, it looks like they have, I'm guessing, bones of some sort, holding their wings out like this. Geography question 1, is Graycove actually situated in a cove? How large is the lake by the town? So they are, I don't think they're technically in a cove. Their name did not come from the fact that they're in a cove. It was chosen for a different reason that I'm not going to tell you because spoilers. How large is the lake by the town? I pictured it being pretty big. Like, it's not humongous, but it is a large lake. Like, it wouldn't be crazy huge or anything, but it wouldn't be a small one either. Do any of the characters smoke? Yes, Russell smokes. Okay, let's shrink this guy down, like a lot. He would be pretty tiny. I don't actually know how big these lizards are, but I think they're pretty small. Let's see. Oh yeah, they're itty bitty. Let's put him up here. He's got stars painted on his wings like the invisibility cloak. Okay, let's give him some little feet. Got long tails. Okay, let's make a new layer, so we'll bump this down a bit. And we're gonna make the pen a little bit smaller since he's so little. Glide, you fools. I'm not making his hat pointier, Jasper. I already got rid of the brim for you, but I want the hat like this. Okay, what do their faces look like? Okay, let's give him that, like, brow that lizards have. Do snakes exist in Graycove, and if so, how would they have evolved? There are snakes. They kind of haven't evolved that much. They evolved the sentience and intelligence, and that's kind of it. They still don't have arms or legs or anything. They're still just one long spinal column with ribs. And that's it. And like the little snake in that one short, the stowing in the pocket one, I imagine them having like very rough voices, and having not a difficult time speaking, but not having like very clear voices come through, you know? Like they sound like 10-year-old chain smokers. Don't vote for pointier hat. Yeah, Aster. Because I have a pet snake, so obviously I had to include him in the comics. I also had 2 dogs, and they're both also in the comic. It's Knox and Frankie, who are Griff's younger siblings. They're like the 2 middle ones. Let's give him like a little magic staff. It's just a stick. And then maybe he has like an acorn or something on the end. Let's put it like this. And he thinks he's magical, but he's actually just the town crazy person. That's okay. Every town needs a crazy person. Would love to see a giant snake in the story / random background character. Me too. That sounds fun. I love giant snakes in any media. And it looks like their like little gliding wings have a very butterfly-esque pattern on them. I'm glad it's half and half for pointier hat / it's perfect how it is, because I'm not changing it. I like that it's a little floppy. It kind of looks like he was trying to make it pointy, but he didn't know how to sew it properly. Oops. Let's bring this one a little bit. Okay, so natural patterns are kind of like this. Just quick and lazy. It doesn't need to be perfect. These are just rough sketches. But then I still want him to have little stars that he painted on himself. Charizard. A fresh stick still has the leaf attached because fresh sticks have the best magic. You are absolutely right. And a little floppy leaf. And then he just like attached the acorn on after he plucked the stick from whatever tree he got it from. And lizards always have these weird little feet. He looks so bonita. Well, he definitely feels bonita. Okay, what else can I see for these guys? Oh yeah, they usually have like little... It looks like Charizard wins. Or at least it's pretty close. This guy has schizophrenia, I can tell. That's funny. Let's put some little stars on his hat. Perfect. Excellent. Let's quickly put it. Oops. I love this little lizard, he's so cute. Throw these old ones into a group so I don't have to look at them. Okay. Honestly, I'm really happy with this sketch how it is. So I'm just gonna quickly open this, line art. There we go. There we go. Perfect. And while you guys suggest some more animals and Jasper makes the polls, I'm just gonna quickly try and read through some of these. Some of your comments, because I've missed quite a few. Weird idea. Up to y'all, really. Based on this week's comic panel, what if Charizard's magic knowledge is just knowing how parachutes work? That would be pretty funny. Wolverine, tiny baby mouse child, possum, or a bunny? Komodo dragon. I think we did a Komodo dragon on the last one. And he was like a candle guy. Or like a bee guy, and he was covered in candles or something. He was fun. I liked him. Are there any little bug cities in the world of Graycove? No, bugs did not get sentience, I don't think. That is a really cute idea though, and I remember Jasper talking about like little bug comic ideas. Bugs are sentient, they just don't talk, so you don't know. That would work. Okay, looks like the next one is a possum. Let me just pull up some pictures. What if the real sentience was just the friends we made along the way? That's funny. I used to make possum stickers, so I've drawn them quite a bit, but it's still nice to have a reference picture. Even though they're pretty simple, they're basically just triangle head and big oval body. With some feet. The lizard should be riding on the elk's head. Yeah, we can do that. Let's scooch him over. Will he fit? They're on their own layer, so it's okay if there's some overlap. He won't affect the able drawing. I kind of want to know what the job is before I sketch this character out, so I kind of know what pose they should be in. Cockroach circus trainer, bar journalist with many babies. And then possums have these really weird noses. Quite gross looking. Their noses, not the possums in general. I really like possums. Make him a tired dad who plays dead during interviews. Bro, I love these streams because of the interactions between you and your followers, and also just interacting with other followers. Keep it up. Well, thank you. The interaction part is hard when they're, you know, the comments are going absolutely crazy and I feel like I'm missing 90% of them, but I'm trying very hard to lock in. Well, now that it was said, I do kind of want to draw him pretending to be dead. Let's start this one over. Do it. Just have his tail like sticking up all crazy. Have you ever played Night in the Woods? It's a really great game and your comic gives me some of the vibes from it. I played it quite a long time ago, so I have played it and I really like the vibe of that game. I don't remember a lot of the specifics now because it's been quite a while, but I do remember really enjoying that game. Okay. Looks like Journalist with Many Babies is the winner. So we'll just have everyone's just sitting. In the classic, like, Dad, I know you're awake pose. His fingers are all crunched up. I'm sticking his tongue out instead. Everyone's pushing on his head or something. Give the baby the microphone for the interviews. I wonder what their microphone would be. For some, I'm thinking of some kind of plant that has a similar shape. Maybe just like a big clover puff. Acorn stick with a leaf. We already did that. A dandelion? Oh, a dandelion sounds cute. Maybe one of the babies is also playing dead. I'm trying to draw one of his little hands like on his forehead in the classic like, I'm dying pose. This is cute. Okay, let's drop the opacity a bit. Start cleaning this up. Father, I require news. Let's make this one grumpy. Oh wait, I just had an idea. Ever hear of El Chupacabra? What if that was in Graycove? That's a fun thought. We did talk about at one point making cryptids for Graycove. I don't know if we ever actually settled on any, but the idea of it is very fun. Naming all the kids is gonna take a while, but that's probably good because cleaning this up is also gonna take a while. Let's get some messed up whiskers. He is ragged. Put a number on each of the kids the folks want to name them. Okay, we'll go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Dead child is officially named the Squonk. Okay. How do you spell that? Okay. Oh wait, sorry. Number 2 is the Squonk. My bad. Welcome to Possum News. In today's story, Hazel apprehended a runaway weasel named Diesel who unknowingly contracted measles, and now both of them are quarantined in the town's gazebo near the easel. That sounds like a line they would say in BoJack, because they had a lot of the like sentences with lots of rhyming words. Jershel and Masper. Which sketch is your favorite so far? I think Jarazard the Wizard. I think that one's my favorite so far. Ooh, bye Laura, thank you for joining us. Let's do this little news reporter now. Oh, kid number 1 is Squeak. Squeak and Squonk. These parents didn't even try. They had so many kids at that point that they're just like, okay, Squeak, Squonk. Good enough. Done. doesn't really look like a dandelion, but we all know it's a dandelion. I love that you guys are choosing all SQ names. That's very funny. My grandparents named all 4 of their children SH names, which is very funny. And because their kids were such monsters, they always said if they had a 5th kid, they were gonna name it shit. Okay, they've got little thumbs on their back feet that I almost forgot about. And it looks like Kid 3 is named Squat. Microwave. Have you ever seen a microwave in Graycove? No, microwaves I don't think would be allowed. They have strange rules on what can and can be brought into Graycove. So like anything that would have batteries or an engine, anything like that wouldn't be allowed, but like Russell can kind of get away with bringing in like books, and basic materials, so like metal and plastic, stuff like that, but if it looks too complicated, he'd get in trouble. But because they're a little, I don't want to say ignorant, but like they just not understanding some things, it would be easy for them to get confused and think something that is not complicated is, and be like, nope, not allowed, or vice versa. So like if they tried bringing in like an iPhone, maybe they'd just be like, yeah, that's just like a glass brick, whatever. Like, that's not important. Oh wait, I missed, what's the microwave. Good stuff. Microwave. Are there actual kingdoms with a monarchy and nobility and the like? Yes. So technically, Graycove is under a monarchy because they have a king, who you will see in this in this current chapter later on, in quite a few pages. I have good handwriting. Well, that's nice to hear. I liked this week's page. I thought it was a bonding moment for the protagonists. Well, that's good. Yeah, I wanted for them to be able to get their personal issues out of the way somewhat quickly, because they have so much bigger issues going on. I didn't want that to kind of distract from it. And like, obviously it's probably not going to be the end of their arguments or their issues, but sorry, I wish I could stay, but I can't be up for another long stream and need to get up off the floor. Well, thank you for joining us. Glad you could be here for a little while. Have a good night. Have there been revolutions or are the kingdoms too young? Yeah, I think they had their own period of, let's call it unrest. That I don't want to get into too much because it's gonna come up eventually. But yeah, I don't think they were a completely peaceful society the entire time, you know? Like, up until this point, it felt like their partnership was on thin ice, but now they have a system to work together. Yeah, that's... Yeah, exactly. I didn't want them to be, you know, rocky for the entire time. Reminder that he's supposed to be a journalist. I don't really know how to show that he is a journalist when he's covered in children. I guess when I think of a journalist, I just think of those like little badges that they wear saying like press, or like the stereotypical like hat with a little pencil in the ear. So let's do that, sure. Not the hat part, but the pencil in the ear. Which you can't really see, but that's fine. Maybe he has a little press badge. Yeah, gosh, this is a really hard angle to write at. Okay, you guys know it says press. Put a notepad on the ground near him. You got it. So what does this possum journal about? I mean, probably just what's happening locally, which I don't think would be too crazy. I think it'd be kind of a boring news column up until the start of the comic, I guess, when characters start going missing and everything. But yeah, I think that is good. Oh, and I think I completely missed what the dad's name is. Montimer? Okay. Good stuff. Montimer would be getting whiplash from the disappearances after writing nothing but fluff pieces all these years. Yeah, that is a funny thought. Like, he doesn't actually know how to be a journalist and, like, hunt down stories and stuff because he's just been doing, like, really easy fluff pieces for years. And he's like, oh, stuff is actually happening. I don't really know how to interview for, like, serious topics. Gonna move him down here. Okay. What are we doing next? Man, a giraffe would have such a difficult life. Like, they're tall enough before they just stand on their back legs. Getting around anywhere, going into buildings, would be so tricky. Draw the giraffe with the head fully off the page. If that was the case when the giraffes evolved to have shorter necks, I mean, they probably would eventually. What music would Hazel listen to? I could see her getting high while listening to Bob Marley. Fair enough. I kind of picture Hazel listening to a wide variety of music. I think I said at some point I think her favorite artist would be like, I think her name is Haley Hendrix or something. Let me pull it up real quick. It's a Haley something. Oh, it is Haley Hendrix. It's just spelled very strangely. Cause yeah, I don't know. She has very nice, like soft music that I quite like, and I think that's the kind of music Hazel would enjoy as well. There was one specifically that I really liked by her. What is it called? I can't find it. I had a specific one in mind. I can't. Something to do with bugs. Yes, Bug Collector. Thank you, Crispy Within the Meat. That was the exact song that I was thinking of. Short-sighted giraffe. You got it. Okay, let's see. Okay, this time we're gonna try and do this in the proper fashion. So we're gonna start with a skeleton. This is just the neck. And they have these big humps. I'm gonna do this for the shoulder, or the torso, I should say. Makes ads for milk. Okay, I got these weird little horns. Hi, sorry, I'm like just popping in to say you're doing an awesome job. Thank you. Hi, welcome to Graycove. Can I take your order? Chimney sweep. One of my dogs chased after a garbage truck today, so when I caught him, I decided to drain him of his life force. What does that mean? Okay. Moving on. always forget, but they've got these little mohawk going down the back of their neck. So cute. Don't worry about it. That's not a good answer, my guy. For some reason I picture this character smoking, so they're gonna be smoking. I feel like being a chimney sweep already kind of messes up your lungs, so we'll make his lungs even worse. What do their feet look like? Saw a Reddit thread that was so polite. I guess you can have a little boiling water. Followed by a picture of a puppy. Reminded me of that. Just a little bit of boiled water as a treat. Okay, so they have similar hooves. This is deer and stuff. Good to know. They've got these big joints. And they're really skinny. I remember one of my friends in college did a walk cycle with like this big giraffe character where the head was like bobbing up and down, and I think it was wearing like 3 neckties. And he did a really good job. It was a fantastic walk cycle. It turned out really good. Let me go. Tail's kind of like this. And then let's do fresh on top. Let me just look up a chimney sweep real quick. And then find a lot of pictures of suit-covered children. That's good. Sadly gotta hit the hay, but this was fun. The opossum kids are adorable. Have a good night. Well, thanks, Norse. Have a good night as well. Thanks for joining us. Okay, now looks like the classic chimney sweep look is the little cap, which I guess would cover his horns. For some reason I'm seeing a lot of neckties. So let's give him a couple. Copy my friend from college. And let's give him a little vest, because that sounds adorable. Oh, right, I forgot about the glasses. Okay. Give him those really thick lensed glasses. We'll give him those glasses. What they do in cartoons, where the glasses are just the whole eye, so he has like the really big pupil right in the middle. And so it's like really thick lens glasses. Let's make him look a little bored. He's secretly a good chimney sweep. Bird nest on his head. He secretly twins. He has the Black Plague. What was that last one? He a dork. Okay, good stuff. I mean, these glasses are making him look like a dork, so that definitely helps. And then I think we're gonna give him a little vest, because a lot of these chimney sweep pictures I'm seeing have vests. Just a little collar. Quite like drawing giraffes. They have a very interesting shape to them. It looks like the plague is winning. Let me just quickly look up what symptoms of plague look like. Oh, disgusting. Figured it would be, but I'm so glad I Googled that. Give him a little handkerchief that he coughs blood into and hides it like a dramatic tuberculosis patient in an old black and white film. The classic move. We'll have it sticking out of his pocket. Kind of crumpled up. But it's got the blood. Marshall's search history: Irish elk, flying lizard, symptoms of the Black Plague. My search history definitely gets really strange when I'm working on art and need a reference. And it looks like Black Plague was the winner. Okay, well, let's see. Okay, it looks like a big part of it is having a disgusting hand. Or hands, I should say. And really gross little pustules. So that's fun. We'll give him some on his neck, I guess. He's real tired. And I guess this hand can be the gross one that's slowly decaying. Yeah, this will be for the chapter when Graycove gets really dark and everyone just dies from a plague. Draw fleas coming off of him. You got it. Gross. At least Graycove now has representation for an underrepresented minority suffering from a terminal illness. This is a ridiculous character. Okay, let me look up what their spot pattern looks like. Okay. I'll just throw in a real quick lazy pattern. I'll just shade these in so that you know they're gross little pus balls. Where's the suit from the chimney? I have to add that last. I gotta finish this part first. Good enough of that. And then we'll shade this hand in so that we know it's the gross plague one. Good stuff. I don't know why you guys want this character to suffer so much, but that's fine. Okay, let's see what brushes we have to cover him in soot. No. Maybe this one. Ooh, nope. Okay, let's turn this down. I'll turn that down. Yeah. Let's turn this to multiply. Got some soot on his nose, his cheek. And kind of cover him all over. Fun fact, my middle school had a plague day where people learned about the plague and did a simulation of it. People got "I died from the Black Plague" stickers they wore afterwards. Oh good. Let's erase this. Yeah, this character is gonna have such a tragically short life. He's a chimney sweep, he has the plague, and he smokes. I'm just gonna turn this down a bit, so it's not as in the way. And merge down. Yep. He's speedrunning his life. Yeah, you are 100% correct. He is speedrunning his life. Okay guys, we need one more vote. Okay, well it looks like Arnold and the Bearer of Bad News are the winners. So yeah, his name's gonna be Arnold, the Bearer of Bad News. That's his job on the weekend. Oops. Turn that back up and turn that back up. This is a really crazy selection we got going here. We started off pretty normal and it spiraled very quickly after that. But this seems like a good time for me to take a very quick drink break. So I'm gonna let you guys start voting on the next guy, and I will be right back. Alright, I am back and I see that Jasper is trying to get you guys to prank me, which doesn't really work when I'm aware of the prank. And sea otters aren't that crazy of a aquatic mammal, or semi-aquatic, I suppose. But the people get what they want, so let me quickly pull up some pictures and I will start drawing. Marshall, it still works. You have an audience watching you. Are they near water? I forgot. Yeah, they're on a lake. Okay. They're pretty little guys. Let's start kind of oval shaped head. And they're quite long. Town cleric, ocean church, wagon fence like in Red Dead Redemption, tech support, yep, wheel fell off, or lawyer. The idea of a guy whose job is just to walk up and be like, oh yeah, no, your wheel fell off, it's broken, is pretty funny. Like, oh yeah, I know the problem. Broken. You're welcome. That'll be $100. Kind of big noses. Have you tried turning the wagon on and off again? Very strange looking feet. Have you tried giving it a little more effort? Have you considered just trying harder? Maybe that'll fix it? This one has to be a lady. We have old dudes so far. Oh, that's a good point. Okay. Squonk, Squat, and Microwave are all girls. I have decided. Okay, tech support guy. Which I don't know how to show on this little character. So let's give her a little clipboard, I think. So she can look very important and like she knows what she is doing because she does. And Let's draw her pointing, like she's pointing at a problem, being like, yeah, it's broken. Draw the broken wheel. Maybe there's just a big crack in it or something. Oh, this is busted. It's Griff with a broken leg, and the sea otter is just pointing it out while suggesting he just handstand for the rest of the day. That's pretty funny. I don't know, Luke, it sounds like you want me to break Griff's leg. It seems like you're really, really into that idea. We might have to do it now. I don't know. Hello, love your videos. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Into the femur breaker. Left leg it is. I feel like in response Hazel would just stomp on the otter until it's a small cute stain. Hazel, since Griff's leg is broken, have you considered it's time to just put him down? Imagine how much a worse character would sweat if it broke its leg. What else can we give this little otter character? What's some like fun clothing or jewelry or, you know, just a little something that we can give her so she's not just carrying a clipboard and pointing. They're the one who broke the wheel. Yeah, they're just trying to make their commission. These are all just clothes. None of these are particularly twisty. I mean, it's hard to be twisty with clothes. Kind of weird but reasonable question. If two animals of different species fell in love and got married, would they adopt a child? They would be allowed to adopt a child if they wanted to, yeah. Because, like, Herb and Daisy adopted, and they just because they ended up with Russell, and I don't want to give more details than that, obviously, because we're going to get into it next chapter, but, like, characters can adopt if they want to. Because, yeah, we don't want, like, we want to keep a reasonable amount of, you know, realism to it, in that, like a goat and a wolf couldn't have kids because they're too different, but, like, Herb and Daisy are two very different species of deer, but they can still have kids, so, like, we bend the rules a little bit, but not to a crazy extent. So, like, we don't have, like, any crazy hybrids like that. But, like, two different species of deer, that's fine. If it was, like, two different species of, you know, goat or cow, whatever, they can. So, like, there is a Liger character in one of the backgrounds. So it's like a reasonable type of hybrid is fine. And like we push that a little bit, but not to a crazy extent. So like big, like a wolf and a cat couldn't have kids together. You know, like big cat. In a game with anthroanimals, the rule with mixed species couples is that can have children, but the children always take the species of the mother. That's fair, and like in BoJack, I think it's kind of just like a 50-50 on the species of the parents. But yeah, we decided against any like crazy hybrid species, just for like, you know, the slightest bit of realism. Looks like she definitely broke the wheel. Fair. And safety vest, overalls, baseball cap. Okay, well that's the only one I can actually draw, so let's do that. Or a little baseball cap. Now I imagine a massive buffalo with a trio of adopted foxes, all the foxes wearing their own headbands or crafted horns. That's cute. I did have a thought the other day of like a really young Hazel not fully understanding that she's not gonna be able to grow antlers because she's not a dude. And like having that realization as a very, very young child and like just flipping out as kids do and like having a full-blown tantrum. So Herb finding one of his old like little sheds and making a little headband for her so she can wear these little antlers when she feels like it. Because I thought that would be cute. Safety vests usually have that'd be adorable. Could you do that for a short? Maybe. Probably not one of the YouTube shorts unless I can find a really specific audio. Yeah, like I just can't imagine any that would fit that, but maybe for like one of the in-between comics, between chapters or something. One of the shorter ones. That could be cute. It would be cute, even more so if that could be Recon with finding the box holding Hazel's antler headband in a closet. Yeah, that'd be really cute. Like she's going through her stuff. Finds it at the back of a closet somewhere. There we go. Little overalls, baseball cap, safety vest. Yes, YouTube community posts. I think I had a notification recently talking about community posts, and I wasn't 100% sure what it was, but if that's something you guys would like for me to enable, I can do that. I haven't yet, like I just kind of glanced at it, and I was in the middle of something, so I moved past it. But if that's something that you guys would like for me to enable, I can go ahead and do that. This is not gonna be a good wheel. Wheels are surprisingly hard, or maybe just annoying to draw. So I'm not doing my full effort for this, but that's fine. Yes, please make community posts. Okay, cool. I'll check it out after the stream and turn it on. And there we go. What a strange cast of characters we made this time. I've joked that I want my firstborn daughter to be named Felony. Nice, good choice. Oh, thank you, Jasper. I was gonna do it after the stream, but that works better, so you guys can go post now while you're thinking about it. I will warn you guys now, though, if it becomes something I have to, like, heavily moderate, and it becomes a big annoying task to deal with throughout the day, it might get turned back off. But if not, then it should be fine. I don't think anyone here wants you to regret it, but I do worry about the larger community. Yeah, that's kind of my concern as well, but we'll see how it goes. Posted my fan art and tagged my YouTube community. It's sloppy and sketchy, but yeah, I'm excited to see it. I don't want to open up YouTube right now, just because I had it open earlier along with a few other tabs and my laptop was having a really hard time. So I don't want to open it up again and risk having my laptop crash, but I'll make sure to check it out after the stream. Thanks for joining us, Swat. Hope you have a good rest of your evening. Okay, it looks like Gale is the winner. Which looks like it disappeared. And I don't know how to spell it. Where did it go? There it is. guys really had to choose the most difficult name to spell in the world. Okay, I'm gonna set a timer for 5 minutes and see if I can draw a good fan art in that time. It's hard to draw a good anything in only 5 minutes. That's a big challenge. Although having a timer set and trying to draw quickly for that timer is a really good way to practice. Alright, I'm gonna space these out a little bit nicer. And then I think we have time. Marshall's a hater, draw for as long as you want. 5 minutes speed drawing hurts me deeply. No, draw for long as you want, but I'm just saying, if you want to set, like, if you want to practice, setting a timer is a really good way to practice, especially for anatomy drawing. If you use the, I think it's called Line of Action, it's a really nice drawing resource for learning anatomy. Then you can set timers so you can only see, you know, the poses for like 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, whatever you want. And it's a great way to practice. That's all I'm saying. Okay, we're gonna do one more animal. I'm gonna put these all into a group and hide them just because there's not a ton of space left on this page. And we'll start fresh, we'll work big. Yes, with Line of Action, there are nude models on it, so if you don't want to see that, you can turn that off. You can have an option so it's only clothed models, and like you can choose if you want to see men or women or both or whatever. It is a really good drawing resource though. If Matriarch is terrifying as a grandma, imagine what her husband, Grandpa, must be like. The Matriarch never had a husband and never wanted a husband, which is why we never showed anyone in the Life of the Matriarch post. Would the younger hyenas sound like Ed and Banzai from The Lion King? I don't remember those specific characters. I'm guessing those are the lion characters. And like, I guess. I suppose so. Llama with crow pet, sheep, rat, or lungfish. I'm kind of hoping for a llama with pet crow, if I'm being honest. Ed and Banzai are hyenas in The Lion King. Okay, I kind of guessed. I do remember one of them saying like, "Shut up, Ed," at one of the hyenas or something along that line. I don't remember. But yeah, I guess they could sound like that. Yes, llama with a pet crow. That's what I was hoping for. I'm just kind of picturing a goth llama now. Okay. Let's have her holding her arm out like this for her crow. That is too far away from the body. I should have started with the skeleton. That is my bad. Let's try that again. What does night bean mean? I don't know what that means. Are they eating beans at night? You're just saying goodnight to Bean? I don't know how to draw Night Bean. Stop voting for it. The crow talks, aka mimicking. You gotta imagine, that'd be terrifying for like the first person who heard a crow, raven, parrot, whatever, mimicking speech and just being like, what was that? You can hear Jasper laughing in the background. Okay, Jasper, I can see that you highlighted they're a werebean. They turn into a bean at night, but we're not making her a werebean. Okay, what can I do with Night Bean? Let me just finish drawing this character first while I try and figure out what night bean means. Crow break in while they eat beans at night. The crow said nevermore and they adopted. Actually, you know what? That's a great point. She keeps beans on her as a treat for Night, the crow. So they're Night's beans. So maybe she has a little... Let's give her a fun little belt. And she's got a little bag of beans. We can't see the inside of, obviously, because it's a closed bag, but we all know it's beans. Do ravens even eat beans? I don't know, but this one does now. Okay, we said that this was gonna be a goth llama. And I'm kind of picturing she's wearing one of those like very flowy kind of shawls, you know? I'm just gonna give her one with those fun little tassels on them. Coffee shop worker, giant slayer, beanstalk climber, chili cook, the man living in the Chicago bean. Emo llama night bean with a pet raven. Night bean is their superhero name. And it looks like she is a coffee shop worker. Coffee shop worker by night, bean by other night. I liked ear tassels of some sort of cloth instead of earrings. Yeah, we can do that. I like that idea, so I'm not gonna wait for a vote. It's kind of hard to show, but let's imagine this is like a pom-pom on an earring. And it kind of matches the shawl I gave her. Someone tell Ionic Bean that them heading to bed caused this to happen. Or their name is Beatrice, but eventually when folks would say Night Bean, it evolved into Night Bean, so now everyone either calls her Night Bean or just Bean. Do they have a beanerang? I clicked because I saw my name. Martial artist. Thank you for joining us. subbed immediately. Much appreciated. What opinion on people getting tattoos of the Tales from Graycove characters? Yeah, it's... do whatever you want, I guess. I can't stop you from doing that. So yeah, do what you want. Yeah, exactly what Jasper just said. We would prefer you didn't make it gross, but like, if you feel so strongly about the characters that you want to tattoo them on your body, go for it. I mean, if you do that, I would love to see a picture, provided it's not somewhere inappropriate for you to be sending pictures of, or it's not like something really super gross. But like, if you do, that sounds interesting. I would like to see it. I like the idea of getting a tattoo of favorite characters. Yeah, that's fair. Lots of people like to do that. I have most of a sleeve done. It's all patchworky, but all of mine are more nature-based stuff, so like snake, moth, fern. Alright, I'm heading out now. Please don't make an OC of it. Alright, have a good night, Luke. I'd get a tattoo of a triple cliff if I weren't deathly afraid of needles. Yeah, tattoo needles aren't the same as, like, shot needles. They really don't feel like needles at all. I know they're technically needles, but it really doesn't look or feel like you're getting stabbed with a needle. Because they're quite short and they're all within like a pen tip, I guess. So they move quickly back and forth and come out. So it's more like they're drawing on you with a very sharp pen. Give her some tassels. I made a little doodle of the possums on the community. Nice. I'm gonna head out as well. I'll post on the community some short non-canon stories, probably of the characters. Nice. Well, have a good evening. Thank you for joining us. I think this character is about done here. Did you guys pick out a name? I might have missed it if you did. already decided the crow is named Night. I guess I'll give her some spots. I feel like her spots would be purple. She'd be like a dark gray or black color with like some nice purple glowy spots. I'm just kind of place them at random here. Llama or alpaca? I think technically we voted with llama, but I was definitely looking at pictures of both llamas and alpacas. So we'll say she's a llama. And this is gonna be the last vote of the night. Oh my god, Night Bean. Okay. It's cool because alpaca and llama can cross. Guess that makes sense. Second most voted name is her actual name. Night Bean is her incognito name. So yeah, someone has to break the tie between those two middle names. I have a hard time coming up with my own OC's names. Yeah, I feel that. I'm not particularly good at coming up with names either. Yeah, just do what we do and get your audience to name them. Oh my god, it's a three-way tie. Okay, you got 1 minute and then I'm picking at random. That would work, except I'd first need an audience. Yeah, that's fair. That's the tricky part. Perfect. There we go. I don't even know how to pronounce that name, but that's fine. The Night Bean. And since the other Marshall here hasn't seen them, these are the other characters that we came up with tonight. Oh, it's pronounced like Juno? Okay, that's what I assumed, but I wasn't 100% sure. Yeah, we made quite an interesting cast of characters tonight. I think this is a good stopping point since this was the last one we were gonna do. So I will say goodbye for now. If you haven't seen it, the new comic page came out today. They're also out on Coffee if you want to see next week's. And yeah, I think that's about it. Have a great rest of your evening, and I hope to see you guys next time.